Every time I do one of these stories, I swear it becomes my new favorite. But this one right here, is my new favorite. And I gotta thank my cousin Shannon for even putting me on, because this just ain't a history lesson. This is a lesson in hustle, in power, and in vision. This is the kind of story that shows you the strength of a woman. Now, you know when people talk about coffee in New Orleans, they always bring up Cafe du Monde. Like, that's the beginning. Like, that's where it all started. But what if I told you it actually started with a slave? What if I told you that before there were souvenir mugs and powdered sugar on your lap, there was a woman named Rose Nico? She was born into slavery in 1812 and was sold 6 times. 6. But somehow, through all of that, she managed to build one of the most iconic legacies this city has ever known. And barely anybody even knows it. Rose used what little freedom she had to hustle. She would walk the streets near the French market with a portable coffee stand, selling hot, fresh coffee to the folks just leaving Sunday Mass at St. Louis Cathedral. Word spread fast. People said her coffee was smooth, strong, and like the benediction that follows after prayer. Now, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I'm going to go ahead and assume it was a compliment. But back to the story. This wasn't no Keurig drip. This was 1 cup at a time, brewed over a charcoal fire with a French drip pot, love, patience, and a steady hand. Real slow, real strong, real New Orleans. She was so good at it, she made enough money to buy her own freedom. She was free by the age of 28, and she didn't stop there. Rose went on to open her coffee stand inside the French market, in a hall of vegetables. She was the first black woman, possibly the first person, period, to run a real deal coffee business in that space. And she didn't just make money. Sis made waves. Her hustle inspired a whole community of free black women to start their own businesses. Now, excuse my French, literally, because I'm not good at it, but they were called les vendeuses. Oh my God, that was so bad. But back to the story. They sold food, flowers, pralines, you name it. Rose showed them that it was possible. She made sure that the French market had flavor, soul, and history in every corner. Now you might be wondering, how was she even able to do all this while she was still a slave? Well, here's the thing about New Orleans. It was different down here. New Orleans had one of the largest populations of free people of color in the entire country. And even though slavery was still very real, this city had a strange setup where slavery and freedom walked side by side. There were enslaved people and free black people living and working in the same space, and many enslaved folks were given Sundays off, and Rose took full advantage of that. She used her Sundays to post up after church, selling her coffee to the crowds, leaving Mass at St. Louis Cathedral, and she was allowed to keep some of the money she made. She hustled hard, saved up every coin, and that's how she eventually bought herself out of slavery. And let's not forget, Cafe du Monde didn't open until 1862. By then, Rose had already been doing her thing for decades. She laid the foundation. She built the culture. Long before coffee became trendy, before it got overpriced and overhyped, Rose was out there pouring culture into every cup. Her entrepreneurial spirit and determination laid the foundation for the rich coffee culture that New Orleans is known for today. But here's the part that gets me. This woman helped shape a whole city's identity. She inspired generations. She created legacy. And still, most people don't even know her name. And that's why I'm telling this story. Because I find it real funny that this is the kind of story they leave out of textbooks. Like, why? This should definitely be in the curriculum. It's inspiring as hell. Rose wasn't just black history. She wasn't New Orleans history. She wasn't women's history. She is history. Period. Think about it. This woman was a slave, sold 6 times, but in her free time, on Sundays at that, she used her one day off to go make money. She had hustle, she had drive, and she was innovative. As far as we know, she was running coffee stands before any of the so-called big names in the business. Come on, y'all. This is exactly the kind of story that should be passed down, taught, and told out loud. But of course, they don't want to teach this. Because if we start learning what we were really doing back then, the whole narrative changes. And look, I'm not throwing shade. I love me some Cafe du Monde. But I do find it funny that their sign says the original French market coffee. When we've got receipts showing Rose Nico had the game on lock long before 1862.
Clock it.
And let me share this with y'all. I didn't even notice this until I was putting this video together. But I had taken my kids to Cafe Du Monde the other night because we wanted beignets. We were walking over, by the river so we could go see the bridge. I was just casually recording and not even thinking about it. But take a good look at that wall. You notice anything? Yep, that's actually Rose Nico in that painting. She's actually serving coffee. But last week I had no idea who Rose Nico was, so I didn't even notice it. But when we don't know the names and when we don't know the stories, we walk right past it. We don't even realize how powerful that image is. And that's why we can't leave our history in their hands, because when they write it, they put themselves on the label. So follow this page, because we're not just posting, we're preserving, and we're just getting started. Remember to like, comment, and share, and subscribe for more stories that they won't put in your textbook. Peace.
Honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. Divine all blessed greetings and salutations. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. Voodoo Hoodoo 101. Powered, supported, brought to you by NOIVD, New Orleans International Vodou Day. Welcome, beloveds, to another journey into the living, breathing world of urban earthwork, where concrete meets spirit, where rooftops become gardens, where grow bags become altars of ritual, medicine, and sustainability. I am indeed your host, the Divine Prince Tiameka, guiding you through the sacred ecology of city living, where every plant is a teacher, every leaf is a story, and every harvest is a blessing. Tonight, we're diving deeper into the powerful universe of herbs, fruits, vegetables, trees, and plants that thrive in grow bags, not just as food, not just as medicine, but as ritual companions, ancestral technologies, and sustainable allies for modern urban dwellers. There is ritual power in grow bag gardening. Growing in bags is more than convenience. It is ritual. It is intention. It is reclamation. And a grow bag, 10 gallons, 20-gallon bag, is a vessel, a container of possibility, a portable shrine of life. And when you place soil in a grow bag, you're not just planting, you're inviting. You're calling forth the spirit of the plant, the lineage of the seed, the memory of the ancestors who cultivated these medicines long before cities rose from the earth. And grow bags allow us to create sacred green spaces anywhere: balconies, stoops, porches, rooftops, windowsills, and tiny quarters of concrete that suddenly become sanctuaries. Let's talk about the healers, medicinal herbs that thrive in grow bags, the plants that carry medicine in their leaves, their stems, roots, and scent. Lemon verbena, a colonal plant of lineage and continuity, perfect for ritual teas, spiritual baths, and calming the mind. Spearmint and peppermint, cooling, cleansing, uplifting, powerful for breath, digestion, and clearing stagnant energy. Turmeric, a root of fire, protection, inflammation relief, and ancestral strength. African marigold, a purifier, a protector, a solar plant that drives away negativity and blesses the home. Basil, a prosperity plant, clarity and spiritual elevation plant, a plant that listens and responds. Rosemary for memory protection and ancestral communication. Oregano and thyme, antiviral warriors, kitchen staples, and ritual cleansers. These herbs don't just heal the body, they heal the space around you. They shift the vibration of your home, your yard, your garden. They anchor your rituals. They remind you that medicine is not separate from daily life. Grow bags are surprisingly powerful for producing food, real food, fresh food, ritual food, fruits and vegetables for urban grow bag abundance, like peppers, jalapeno, sweet peppers, hot peppers, fiery plants that bring courage, heat, and vitality. Tomatoes, sun filled fruits of nourishment, joy, and ancestral kitchen magic. Blueberries, yes, blueberries thrive in grow bags. They bring antioxidants, sweetness, and spiritual protection. Kumquat trees and citrus trees, small citrus trees, adapt beautifully to bags, offering cleansing, prosperity, and bright energy. Your leafy greens like collards, kale, spinach, mustards, the backbone of soul food and sustainable nourishment. Your root crops, carrots, ginger, turmeric, radishes, grounding plants that connect you to the earth, even in the city. And every harvest is a ritual. Every meal is medicine. Every bite is sustainability in action. And urban gardeners often think trees are impossible. Trees and sacred plants that adapt to grow bags are indeed possible, but grow bags change the game. Banana trees, surprisingly adaptable, fast growing, and spiritually powerful. Dwarf citrus trees like lemons, limes, sasumas, kumquats adapt very well to grow bags. Moringa, the miracle tree, the nutrient dense, medicinal, and deeply sustainable, can thrive in a grow bag. And certainly bay laurel, a ritual tree of wisdom, protection, ancestry, and authority. Trees in grow bags teach us that even in limited space, we can cultivate expansiveness. Grow bags are a sustainable revolution. Sustainability through grow bag gardening. They reduce water waste, they prevent root rot, they allow mobility during storms or extreme heat, and they make gardening accessible for renters, apartment dwellers, leasees, and nomadic spirits. They turn any patch of sunlight into a micro farm. And sustainability isn't just about the environment, it's about sustaining yourself, your community, your spirit, and your connection to the living world. So, as I invite my beloved panelists, co hosts to come on in, the Queen Mother, Sister Tony Val Martinez, our beloved moderator, as we begin our journey and continue our journey together in herbs, plants, roots, fruit trees, vegetables, things that we can certainly produce and grow in our own yards, in our own gardens, in our own sacred spaces. Let us also cultivate community where we can relearn the ability to trade and share resources uh, and what we can produce in our yards, in our spaces. Your grow bag is indeed a ritual tool. Your plants are medicinal allies. Your garden is a sustainable act of resistance, resilience, and remembrance. But our communities help to feed continuity, heirloom quality, and the ability for us to have a much more diverse accessibility to plants, herbs, fruits, vegetables, uh, roots, minerals that are beneficial, sustainable, and maintain our ritual and spiritual lives. Whether you're growing mint on a windowsill, turmeric on a porch, blueberries on a balcony, or banana tree in a courtyard, you are participating in an ancient practice adapted for modern life. You are cultivating life. You are cultivating healing. You are cultivating freedom. Welcome to the garden. Let us continue to grow together. Please do come on in, Queen Mother, Sister Tony Val Martinez. And those of you who are listening now, always live and active in our chat, we certainly appreciate your continued support and participation. Daniel Neal, 3465, thank you so much here. Hands on the ground, grassroots level, but always as well in these virtual spaces. Brother Ray Alexander, we appreciate your continued love and support. Apostle Hudson, thank you so much for your continued presence, support, and participation. Love 1901, blessings upon you and yours. Queen Mother, how you doing and what say you this evening?
Hey, hello everyone in the listening audience, Divine Prince. You kind of just sold me on grow bags. I feel like you feel about grow bags. I feel about wash tubs. I love to plant in wash tubs. The silver ones, you know me, everything got to match. And they come in different sizes and they even come in different shapes. And I just take and put holes in the bottom of them with a hammer and a nail, or drill them and set them in the yard. And what I like about them too, they're mobile. I especially love the round ones. They're mobile because they have the two handles on each side. You could get someone to help you pick them up to bring them in and out extreme weather situations. And they're not really that expensive. Walmart usually carries some nice size ones. I just love wash tubs. I love them because I can match them up. But the grow bags, I've been debating on getting grow bags and trying to see how I can set up my yard. And I know most of the grow bags are kind of square. That's the ones I like. And I could actually, because I do have space in my backyard, make rows with those squares. I could line them up and have a walking space between them and line up 4 or 5 more, 6 more, and then have more walking space and line. You could do so much with the grow bags, and they really not expensive. I'm just gonna tell you, but I already got some in my cart from you talking about them before, how much you love them. I got them in my Amazon cart. Um, because like I'm saying, now that I'm kind of finished with my house, for the most part, I'm finished with my house. Everything else is a wish and not a need. I
Mm-hmm.
can start on my yard. I can start on my yard and
I
getting
like
it
your metal
together.
tubs too because they sound like they cute to stack, and you can probably get creative in terms of how you stack those metal tubs. Um,
Yes.
to sort of keep that water recycling from tub to tub before it finally becomes spent. The grow bags also come sort of squarish, but they also come round, sort of round, depending on the make and quality. Not all grow bags are created equal. Some of them are
No.
rather thin and airy. You even have some that are made out of almost like a denim like material, much more durable, sort of roundish, but typically in the larger sizes 30, 40 gallon, 50 gallon, even bigger. And one more
And
thing, the ability to elevate the grow bags as well as the metal tubs. If you have a yard or terrain that tends to hold moisture, you can always set them up on cinder blocks or bricks or other
Yes.
stands to allow that water to sort of flow off freely and not just sit and sort of reabsorb into your bag.
Yeah, and another thing I like the grow bags, especially when you growing potatoes. A lot of grow bags are designed for roots, vegetables, and you got that flap on the side you can just pull
Hmm.
out without disturbing the leaves and everything. You can't do that with the metal ones. But the grow bags come in gray. I didn't check it all out. They come in gray, which would match the gray of the wash tubs. So
Hmm.
I'm still
Hmm.
matching. I got them in my cart. And another thing I like, if you're a homeowner and your yard is your yard, I like the idea of the grow bags, the thinner ones, because you can start off a tree that grows really big and the roots will actually bust out the bottom of the grow bag and go into the dirt as your tree grows. And eventually, once you get it trained in that spot, and while it's young, you don't worry about the weeds as much, they're more easier to protect from insects that like to nibble on leaves and stuff. Once they get strong and sturdy enough, you can even cut the grow bag away and just let them go into the soil.
Oh
So I
yes.
think, yeah, and just because they're gonna bust the roots. People don't realize how strong roots are. We in New Orleans know how strong roots are because of our sidewalks. When people plant trees and it breaks up the concrete, roots are really strong and they will go, like I said, into the ground. Eventually, they'll break through the ones that's thin. And that's for homeowners who have their yard and want the tree. And then with the grow bag, when you first get your little tree in the grow bag, you have a chance to move it around the yard to see exactly where you want to put it. Because I've seen people who own their home and they was like, I wish I wouldn't have put that tree right there. Well, in a grow bag, you can move it around until your spirit feels it's in a good place.
Hmm. Hmm.
And one other thing I always like in my garden, which to me, I'm sure there is an equivalent in African traditional religion, with them or culture, is garden gnomes. I believe in garden gnomes, and my gnomes have not let me down. Um, they ward off evil, they bring good luck, and they help your garden grow. They're magical. So I have the little gnome statues to make it decorative. Sometimes I sit them underneath the plant, like they peeking out from underneath the leaves and stuff. And people really seem to like that, and they durable. They come in metal, plastic, ceramic. I just love the ceramic ones. And they all have individual names and they all have individual purposes in your garden.
Hmm.
Some are for beans, some are for tomatoes, some are for roots. They are the diggers with the shovel. So it's a quite interesting. But I love them. I love them in my garden. It's a must. I must have them in my garden.
Well, certainly
Um,
in voodoo, hoodoo, root work, conjure, ATR in general, there are particular deities or elementals or nature spirits that inhabit certain plants, certain roots, certain trees. There are Loa and Orisha that have a preference for certain plants and or certain trees. So it certainly is something that shows up universally, I would say, in indigenous and aboriginal spirit practices. We're not necessarily, the gnomes, which I believe were introduced to us through Western European culture and practice. But certainly there are spirits, entities that inhabit wood, that inhabit trees, that work with particular plants like sweet basil or rosemary, or have a way of calling or invoking certain forces to be present around that particular plant, herb, root, or vegetable.
And another good plant that I noticed grows good in the wash tub and the grow bag, that's very practical and we all should keep around, is aloe vera. Aloe vera thrives in the wash tubs. It thrives in the wash tubs. And like I said, they're easy to move too. And with the round ones, like you said, I like that you can, stack them up on something. They have those little round things on wheels, the little carts that you can put under your plants if you're on pavement, cement, concrete, whatever. We say pavement. That goes for all concrete. I
Yeah, I
got
have
pavement in
concrete.
my backyard.
Yeah, I have concrete in my backyard. It's broken in certain areas because of water damage. So sort of half of my yard is concrete, and the other half it's dirt and ground. So I keep a lot of my grow bags and even my larger terracotta pots on top of the concrete for various reasons. And then I have uh, my black eyed peas in the ground. My sweet potatoes are in the ground, and any of my natural herbs that are, natural to the area that I allow to survive in my yard for medicinal reasons. I keep them also in the ground.
I'm just so glad I have clothesline teas in my backyard, both of them this time. I had one at my old house, but this time I have two where I could actually make a clothesline, and they are gray metal. And all I need to do is string them with string, and um, for my running plants, which is going to be the first thing I plant, I already know is runners. Is runners. I already know that. And along with, I know, Ty, you don't have nothing in your yard that's not edible. But I do love to add flowers in between my potted herbs and vegetables and stuff, just for, the color. Like azalea bushes, they grow good in a grow bag, in a pot. Set them over in a corner somewhere. I love running morning glories and moonflowers on my fence to see them grow. So it's gonna be a challenge. I will take before and after pictures. I put them on my Facebook page. So, but we're coming to time to close out, and I would like to give the Divine Prince this opportunity to recognize and show our appreciation to our listening audience. We love you. We're so happy you take time out to join us of your busy nights, um or your resting nights, you got off from work or whatever, and we really appreciate you. Divine Prince, Divine Prince, you there?
Yes, we're indeed grateful for the continued participation and support of those who do join us by way of our individual as well as collective Facebook pages, profiles, and groups, our international as well as our multilingual audience by way of LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter X, and always thankful for those who join us and support us by way of IG. Hi Lee, we certainly do appreciate you. Um, uh, IX, the real Gaia, we certainly appreciate your participation and support. Uh, Leona De Davis Moore. I hope I said your name right. We certainly appreciate your participation and support. Maria Clara, go God, yo, go go Dodd, Laveria. We certainly appreciate you. Classy Craig, join us. We appreciate you. I'm Hilda Gayan Bangan. We certainly appreciate you. The Muddy Waters, Botanica, we appreciate your continued support and participation. Thank you so much, Snack on Me, for dropping through. We appreciate your support and participation. And we continue to invite you back again tomorrow night and weeknights at 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time by way of our QR code in the upper left corner of the screen with the little blue ducky head in the middle, or by way of our scrolling URL. New Orleans International Vodou Day exists to restore rightful dignity, authority, and global recognition to the Voodoo family of traditions. Our mission, purpose, and the motive behind New Orleans International Vodou Day forms a single, coherent vision to protect, unify, and elevate Vodou, and Voodoo as living world traditions with deep ancestral, cultural, and spiritual authority. Our mission frames NOIVD not as a festival, but as a cultural embassy for Voodoo worldwide. New Orleans International Vodou Day responds to the urgent needs of this moment, a time when voodoo is simultaneously sought after while yet misunderstood and misrepresented. And our purpose unfolds across several dimensions. NOIVD exists to protect the traditions from harm. New Orleans International Vodou Day confronts misrepresentation in the media, exploitation by uninitiated practitioners, cultural theft and commodification, historical trauma and colonial narratives. And by establishing standards of authenticity, NOIVD becomes a shield for the traditions and the communities that carry them forward. NOIVD serves as a platform for public teaching, ceremonial demonstrations, scholarly dialogue, youth and community education, and this ensures that what the world learns about voodoo comes from real practitioners, not stereotypes or outsiders. And we continue to strengthen international cultural diplomacy through our partnership with the Republic of Benin, Haitian Cultural and Spiritual Leadership, New Orleans Cultural Institutions, and the global diaspora communities. And New Orleans International Vodou Day positions Vodou as a legitimate world religion with diplomatic presence and cultural power. We continue to invite your support, participation, visitation, promotion of these events, your donations and sponsorship of this powerful legacy and expanding international endeavor, as well as our continued GoFundMe campaign for our New Orleans International Vodou Day Year 4 coming in 2027. And please continue to visit us for connection and more information about participating, volunteering, or supporting our symposium, our Afro ecology exhibit, our art exhibition, and our youth programming by way of Xavier University, our procession from the river to Congo Square, and our sacred ceremony held at the Healing Center, the New Orleans Healing Center annually. For those who participate and support this podcast live and always in chat, again, we're eternally grateful for you, and we invite you to join us by way of our website at vodouday.org, VODOUDAY.org, or our NOIVD QR code found in the bottom right corner of your screen. Reminding you that all is truly and indeed a blessing if you can just see beyond the veils, for it is all just an illusion and a test in one of the greatest divine mysteries of this life cycle. Aye, Bobo, Asheo, good night, and we'll see you next time.
Good night, everyone. Have a nice night.
And Brother Ray Alexander, we'll discuss your question, the different protection plans throughout the South historically and the diaspora in coming episodes. Good night, everyone. All is a blessing.
I've traveled to more than 60 countries, but this country feels different. Today I'm visiting one of Africa's least visited countries. Benin, a place home to the powerful kingdom of Dahomey, the birthplace of Voodoo, and forever connected to the history of the transatlantic slave trade. Yet, despite shaping so much of history, most people know nothing about it. But for me, this isn't just another country. As an African American, there's a chance many of my ancestors once lived somewhere in this region of West Africa. I may never know exactly where they came from, but over the next few days, I want to experience a place that may hold pieces of my own story. This is day one in Benin. Now, getting here was actually pretty straightforward. I took a shared taxi from Lagos to the Simi border, crossed into Benin with my e-visa, and after paying a few bribes to the officials along the way, we squeezed into another shared taxi headed towards Benin's largest city, Cotonou. Within minutes, Benin challenged every expectation I had. The longer I looked, the more I noticed the little things: clean streets, wide roads, colorful traditional clothes, designated lanes for motorcycles, drivers actually staying in their lanes, riders wearing helmets, traffic lights being respected, and locals even told me Benin is considered one of the safest countries in West Africa. Now, whether that's true or not, I can't say, but I can say it wasn't the first impression I expected. Now, I've never been to Benin before, yet somehow it felt familiar, just like my visit to Haiti. Maybe it was knowing this part of West Africa forever changed the lives of millions of Africans taken across the Atlantic centuries ago. Maybe it was knowing my own story could trace back to a place like this. I just constantly found myself wondering, did my ancestors walk these roads? Did they live on this street? Is this person next to me a distant cousin? Now, I'll probably never know, but for the first time in a long time, travel didn't just feel like I was discovering a new place. It just felt like I was reconnecting, so that was pretty cool. After checking into the Saint Jean Hotel, now you guys know I can't keep still, so I dropped my bags and headed straight back out because there was so much in Benin for me to explore. Our first stop was the Amazon statue, built to honor the Agoe, an elite group of women warriors who protected the kingdom of Dahomey and became one of the most respected military forces in West Africa. Standing beneath this monument, I couldn't help but think how many incredible stories never make it into the history books. Later, we visited Africa's longest mural. Stretching nearly a kilometer, it's an open-air museum celebrating Benin's history, traditions, and people. Now, I personally love places like this because it shows that history doesn't always belong in museums. Sometimes it's painted across an entire city for everyone to see and experience. As someone from Louisiana, walking through Benin felt unexpectedly familiar, not because everything is the same, but because I kept noticing little things from home. Families sitting together, talking for hours, people cooking food for their communities. Back home, we don't usually sell plates on the roadside like this. Instead, many people cook incredible meals from their own kitchens and sell them to their neighbors. Similar traditions, but packaged differently. So now I'm curious, have you ever visited a place you'd never been before, but somehow it felt like home? Let me know in the comments. So yeah, if you're enjoying this journey, give me a follow. I would love to have you along as I continue discovering Benin. Peace.
Please, allow me to show you something. They say I'm crazy and that might be true. I got this right in my DNA, yet I'm coming for you. It's time we turn the tables, flip these motherfuckers on you. I wanna see you hanging from trees. It's time you pay for your dirt and your shit. You created the monster, you created the beast. Now all this savagery you just gon' reap. I'm coming home, daddy, to the plantation, and I'm taking the lives of everybody, including the children, on some Nat Turner. Oh, do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. I met my girl Harriet at the gate. If you wanna know how she doing, yeah, she's straight. But she had one question: when we gon' get up? All that talking tough, yeah, we don't walk it tough. She got it locked and loaded, got that piece up on her side. She looked me in my eyes and said, "Meet you ready to ride?" Moving forward, you gotta use both eyes. Watch your front and watch your back. Keep your hands up on your gas. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. He sit at the table, but he don't order no bacon. He greet me in those words, assalamu alaikum. Got them glasses on his face and them waves in his head. He go by the name of Detroit Red. He looks me in my eye and says, you only get one try. Know that your biggest opposition will come from the inside. I know you wanna love them all, but don't even try, because they'll smile up in your face while plotting your demise. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down.